The cold start jet kit is going to take you from this to this. Hey everyone, today I'm going to show you how to install the Tusk cold start jet kit on your Honda, Kawasaki, or Yamaha air-cooled dirt bike. Now a lot of these bikes come jetted lean from the factory, which means they're not getting enough fuel on that initial startup. So these jet kits, they come with bigger jets to make sure that your bike starts right up on that first start when you have a cold engine. These are pretty simple to install as well. They come with the pilot and main jet. Some of them might only have the pilot jet. Just type in your year, make, and model to make sure you're getting the correct kit for your bike. But install should take 20 to 30 minutes. And even though we're showing you how to do this on a KLX110, it's going to be a similar process for any of those other air-cooled bikes. So let's go ahead and get started. To start out, you want to gain access to your carburetor. So for this bike, we're going to remove our seat and shroud and then the air box. Now on some bikes, it's going to be easy access. You just need to rotate that carburetor sideways. Once you have access to your carburetor, and this might be right away for some of you guys, you want to drain any existing fuel out. So make sure that you have your fuel valve in the off position, and then you've got the screw at the bottom of the float bowl. You're going to crack that open. We've got a drain pan underneath our vent line or our overflow tube. We're just draining all the gas out. Then I'm going to close that back up so I don't forget. And the next step is to remove that float bowl. So on some bikes, again, you're going to have a hose clamp in the front and back. You can rotate the carb up and remove the float bowl. But for this one, what we're going to do is completely remove one of these screws. And then the other one, we're just going to loosen up, and we're still just going to rotate this up. So, and you'll notice we've got all this cleaned up. You don't want to get any dirt dropping down in there. So if yours is not clean, make sure you get that sprayed off. I'm going to use a little contact cleaner just in case really quick. Make sure that's 100% clean. And if it's carb cleaner you're using, make sure you don't get that on any rubber parts so they don't swell up. So what we can do now is rotate that up and remove the float bowl. And this one just has 2 screws underneath. This is going to be the easiest way to get this done for most people, but to better show the process, I'm just going to go ahead and remove that bolt on the other side. And if you do remove this bolt, you're going to be able to inspect your O-rings as well, so not a bad idea anyway. You can see we have one in that spacer, then you should have one in the end of this carb as well. And with that, you're just making sure that they're not completely flattened or cracked or broken or anything like that. So again, from here, now we just need to remove this float bowl. So I'll go ahead and crack the second screw loose. Sometimes these bowls can be stuck on, so you can use your screwdriver handle. Just kind of tap that, break it free. Now while you're in here, if you see a bunch of green buildup everywhere, you want to go ahead and get this cleaned out. We've got a separate carburetor cleaning video that you're going to want to check out for that. Also, make sure you don't drop this pin for your float. That can slide out real easy. And if you keep this on a slight angle, that's going to help that stay in. But from here, what you need to do on this carburetor, we're using a flat blade screwdriver to remove, number 1, our pilot jet, which is the one I'm removing now. And it's just off to the side of that main jet. Now we can remove the old pilot jet and replace it with the new one. We'll just do these one at a time. So I'm going to set this in place, screw it in, and keep in mind these are brass, so you don't want to crank them down. You just want to snug them up. Just make sure you use a screwdriver that fits in there nice and tight. So that just lightly seated. Now I'm just going to barely tighten it down. Then our main jet takes a flat blade as well. And sometimes this emulsion tube, that'll break free at the same time. So if you need to use an 8mm wrench on that, you can hold that or retighten it if it broke loose. So we're removing the main and installing the new one. Again, we're just going to snug that up. And with that snug, all we need to do now is make sure the sealing surface is clean. Ours is looking good. We had the bike real clean before we took it apart. So now, you just want to make sure you have the float bowl in the correct orientation. And sometimes you're going to have, a little brass tube. You want to pay attention to make sure that's lined up with everything as you go back together. Just make sure you don't hit it on everything and get stuck, is all you're doing. Then we can go ahead and reinstall the 2 screws into the float bowl. Tighten them down. Now for us, we just want to make sure we have our sealing surfaces and O-rings cleaned up. So we're looking pretty dang good. Now if you do have one of these KLXs, this O-ring is going to sit against that intake manifold, and then the O-ring on the carb is going to sit against this. We'll install the 2 bolts and tighten them down. Now if you removed any vent lines, overflow lines, or any cables, make sure those get put back into place. And I'll just verify my drain is closed up, which it is, and now we can reinstall the air box. Now even if you just twisted your carburetor sideways, you want to check these boots and make sure they are completely sealed all the way around. Now we can install our shrouds, the seat, and the side panels. That's all there is to installing the Tusk Cold Start Jet Kit to your Honda, Kawasaki, or Yamaha air-cooled carbureted dirt bike. It's going to make a huge difference on how the bike starts and runs. So if you need one of these kits, you can pick them up on our website. Just click the link in the description below. We also offer free shipping on orders over $75, so take advantage of that. And if you want to see more helpful content like this, subscribe to our channel. I'm Charles with Rocky Mountain ATV MC. Thanks for watching.